got friend of the channel, Cam Newton.
Absolute friend of the channel.
And Cam Newton is waxing poetically because he's transitioned into a new phase of his life, one in which those NFL checks don't come the way that they used to. His revenue stream ain't the same. The money ain't the same. And he's finding it hard to cope with that to a certain degree. And he feels some type of way because he used to be able to provide for all of his children and his family. And now he can't do it the way that he used to because he's no longer in the NFL. He's not getting that NFL money. And so he feels like to a certain degree, he used to be Superman and now he's not that anymore. And he is having to figure out how to best adjust to being Kal-El and not Superman. Well, not Kal-El, but Clark Kent, because Kal-El is Superman. Yeah. So Cam Newton is trying to figure out how to adjust to being Clark Kent because he is no longer Kal-El / Superman. So this is a bit from a TV show that he is currently on. It's a reality show called Special Forces World's Toughest Tests. It's one of those reality shows where they put celebrities in a thing where they're doing competitions involving grueling, strenuous physical activity. So here is a clip from that where Mr. Newton is reflecting on where he is currently.
It seems like you're holding something back that I don't know.
I'm going into a different phase of my life that's going to require a different form of myself. Being in the NFL, everybody knows there's a large sum of money that comes to you in a short span of time. And being away from the game for 3 years, those checks don't come in the same. Like I got 8 kids. It hurts me knowing that I can't provide like I once did. It hurts thinking that, oh, I'm Superman. But in reality, I'm just a man.
Bars.
Don DeMarco, Marco.
Bars. So yeah, Cam says he ain't Superman, he's just a man.
Damn.
You know, those 3 years removed. Man, it's been that long, huh? It seems like it was just yesterday when he was playing for the Patriots. But yeah, I guess it was 3 years ago. But what do you think about that, man? What do you think about Cam's vulnerability there, talking about what he can't do compared to what he used to be able to do?
I don't know, man. I thought he was that guy. I thought he was that guy. You know, that guy is not just a man. At least I didn't think he was. When you're that guy, you're basically a Superman, are you not? But if you're not Superman, then you might not be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I hear what he's coming from, man. And you know, there's a part of me that empathizes with this, in the sense that it's a harsh reality, man. I done been in spots where you know what I'm saying, I had the money coming in decent. I'm buying whatever the hell I want. I ain't looking at no tags. I'm throwing it in the bag. I'm at the grocery store. I'm grabbing any damn thing, organic this, you know what I'm saying, non-GMO that, still do that. But now I look at the price tag, you know, and sometimes, and now I look at it and I go, not this time, you know, maybe next paycheck, you know. Last times before, it was just going in the cart, you know what I'm saying, swipe, swipe, swipe. And you know, the economy has been doing the economy lately, and you know, your purchasing power don't go the same no more. So there's times where I'm at the store, man, and I'm actually making business decisions when I never had to do that. So I know how it feels when things getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? You paying your rent, and you're like, damn. So I know how that can go, and it's just me. So now, when you're looking at a situation like this, where you got 8 mouths to feed, and this ain't a regular 8 mouths. This is 8 mouths that are hooked on NFL salary stuff. He was spitting these kids out because he always thought he was going to be making NFL type money. And I don't think he thought this one through long term. I don't know how those baby mamas feel about having a particular lifestyle attached to this either. He didn't mention that, but I'm pretty sure the baby mamas would like their lifestyle to stay the same. So, so there's a part of him that's like, damn, man, it ain't what it used to be. And of course it's not. So I think everybody can empathize with that. But, the problem is, a lot of people are going to look at this and go, hey, man, well, you're reaping what you sowed here. So on one hand, I know there's a lot of people that's going to empathize with him. But I know on the other hand, there's going to be a lot of people that say, hey, man, well, you caused this all on your own. You know what I'm saying? You was out there literally, bro, shooting up clubs. You know what I'm saying? And dropping them and thinking it was hot. And, now all of those kids, man, they're looking at you like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? I need more V-Bucks for my Fortnite. I'm saying I need more V-Bucks. And he's like, damn, bro, I just got you some. Before he could just swipe. Now it's like, damn, So now it makes sense why he's out here kissing ass. Now it makes sense why he's out here, becoming a social justice warrior online. Respecting all women online and doing all this other stuff that he, that's like, hey, bro, what you got going on? He's become corporatized, or he's getting in that lane. I can see why now, because those NFL checks are drying up. So he went from super cam, and this is probably where all the strange behavior has been coming in at, because he's been making the shift from being, hey, the football player to, hey, I got to be corporate. Yes. I got to say all of this corporate stuff and get weird on y'all.
He needs job security.
And he got to buck dance and sell out in order to do it. So, yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff going on here, man, where it's kind of looking at him like a case study. And for any other athlete out there or any other young person, or where you're getting money how it is and you think you can do certain things, you got to project out into the future, man. Because at least in Cam's case, those 8 kids and those 4 or whatever baby mamas, they're going to want to keep living the same life they were living on his NFL dollars. And him trying to make money work, make money stretch ain't going to make sense to them. So, yeah, I can feel where he's coming from. But what are your thoughts, man, on Sir Cam Newton, Superman, now becoming Cam Kent? What are your thoughts, bro?
I think you give him too much credit when you say that he kept having all of those kids because he thought he was going to make NFL money forever. I think you're giving him too much credit. I think he was having all of those kids because he's undisciplined and loves women. And so he wasn't thinking about the long-term effects. He just kept shooting up clubs because he's undisciplined and loves having sex. And so now he has 8 kids with 3. Like, I don't think you have 8 children by 3 different baby mamas and can claim that you're a disciplined person. Now, whether you can take care of that situation comfortably or not is a separate issue, but I don't think that you go about the business of doing that intentionally. I don't know one guy who purposefully says, I'm going to have 8 kids by 3 different women. Maybe in certain contexts where there's some sort of a pact or something and it's understood and everyone knows what they got going on, Big Love style. There was a TV show used to come on HBO called Big Love about a polygamous commune. Unless it's something like that where you're doing it on purpose. No one on purpose does that. Those are the actions of an individual who lives in the moment and does things in an undisciplined fashion. Having said that, I just kind of think that you're giving him more grace than he deserves in that regard, because he wasn't doing that on purpose. He was just doing it because he was in the moment living. Now, I bring all of that up to say an undisciplined person. Now, let's refer last week back to the conversation that you and I had about Zion. And I was talking about how I believe the reason why Zion's career has progressed in the manner in which it has thus far largely has to do with the fact that he is an undisciplined human being. And that lack of discipline can be observed not just via the way he plays and orients his career but also by the decisions that he makes in his personal life. It's all correlated. We talked about guys who we know who do things in chaotic ways personally, and whenever we step on the basketball court with them, they play basketball chaotically. So there's a correlation. You live life how you play basketball. You also live life the way you play football, and you live life the way you manage money, and you live life the way you make decisions with women. It's all correlated. And to me, Cam Newton, so if you run this back, right? I'm looking at this. Cam Newton from 2011 to 2015 was playing on a 4-year, $22,025,498 contract. It was with a $14 million, $518,554 signing, $544 signing bonus, average annual salary of $5.5 million a year, guaranteed money $22,025,498. So unless I'm reading this wrong, that first contract for him was fully guaranteed. From 2015 to 2020, that was his big payday. 5 years, $103,800,000, $22,500,000 signing bonus, average per year $20,760,000, guaranteed $60 million. $60 million guaranteed. 41 million of that was guaranteed upon signing. Okay, so that was his big money. After that, it slowed down. 2020 with the Patriots, 1 year, 1.75 million, 550,000 guaranteed. Next year was again with the Patriots, 1 million, 5.1 year, 5.1 million, 3.5 million guaranteed. And then after that with the Panthers, 1 year, 6 million, 2.25 million signing, 4.5 million guaranteed. Now, his last year in the league was the 2021 season. We are 3 years removed from that. 3 years and some change. He made a lot of money in his playing career.
Mm-hmm.
For you to be talking about how you're struggling to care for your 8 children now because the NFL checks aren't rolling in tells me you were living an undisciplined life. Because how else can you explain making that kind of money, but you have to be super podcaster and be on reality TV shows in order to supplement income to continue to comfortably pay for your lifestyle as well as the lifestyle for your children and the mother of your children. So once again, this is a referendum on undisciplined humans. Now, is Cam Newton as undisciplined as Zion? No, because Cam Newton made way more of his career than Zion did thus far. We'll see if Zion can redeem himself. But just like Zion is on a 5-year, $197 million contract, and the Pelicans have not recouped any of that investment, nor will they. As it looks, Cam looks as though he did not maximize on all the opportunities that he can to make investments into the long term with that money so that it can continue to grow into perpetuity. And he will therefore continue to be able to care for his 8 children and 3 different baby mothers. But again, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but a man does not, with discipline, proceed to have 8 children by 3 different women. I don't think you do that with discipline, not unless you are a clearly defined polygamist and you are doing this on purpose. And there are contracts and documents and pacts that are signed by all parties involved in which everyone knows what everybody's doing and we all know what we got going on here. But outside of that being the case, in my opinion, it's an undisciplined person that has that many kids by that many different women. And there's a correlation between that lack of discipline and that lack of discipline when it comes to how you spread your money financially so that you can ensure a future for those that are around you as well as for yourself. So that's my take on that. I don't know Cam personally, but just read the tea leaves on this stuff. It doesn't take a rocket science to read the numbers and see what he has going on and kind of put 2 and 2 together. So I don't think he's like in the poorhouse suffering, but it certainly does look like at a certain point when he was making the most of his money, when he was maximizing on his earning potential, he didn't do everything that he could to diversify his portfolio enough to not have to do whatever that TV show is called, World's Toughest or whatever I said earlier. So, hopefully into the future, good luck to him. But he is definitely pivoting into becoming a company man as a podcaster, where he is going to parrot a lot of speech. And the reason why you are careful enough to parrot a lot of speech is when you want to ensure job security for yourself. And the type of person who wants to make sure that they are ensuring job security for themselves is the same kind of person who is fearful of what can happen to them financially if that job security goes away. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But right now, it just kind of looks like maybe he should have conducted himself with a little more discipline.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that, man. I thought, personally, I thought that, having 8 kids from 3 women, I felt like that was in pocket, because it could have been 8, 7, or 8 kids, 7 baby mamas, 8 kids, 6 baby mamas. I felt like 3 was a little in pocket because there was a couple double ups in there. So I thought that it was kind of intentional. I may be wrong, but I felt like it was kind of intentional. And but when it comes to not having discipline, that's many athletes, unfortunately. And a lot of these guys aren't taught financial literacy, even though they have these financial literacy classes when they initially get drafted. I guess I can't say they weren't taught it. They never really learned it, or picked it up, and I mean, I can, again, I would like to consider myself disciplined in many areas, in some areas, and I'm not. And I can be honest about that. And one of the areas that I struggled with as a young person was financial discipline. And you know, uh, I had a job where I was making today money. So I didn't have no paychecks. I was independent contractor, and I was making that money as the money came. It was mine, you know. And there's a mentality that get built with that. That you should be saving. You should be doing these things. And you do a little bit here and there. But there's this override mentality of, well, I'm gonna make this back tomorrow. And so there's a habit gets developed, and then you get an addiction, from living fast. And that's all he was pretty much saying there, was that he got addicted living fast.
But
And
that's what undisciplined people do.
what I'm getting at is that what I'm getting at is, and I admitted to being undisciplined.
So yeah, like I'm not above any of this.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. It sounded like you were.
No,
So,
no.
but
But my lack of discipline doesn't manifest itself in the same way. So like me not having discipline isn't going to result in 8 children from 3 different women.
but it'd be something else.
Yeah, correct. So my lack of discipline isn't going to manifest itself in something that can put me in financial peril. But unfortunately for him, his did. So whenever I say it's a referendum on how to conduct oneself in a more disciplined way, it's not to say don't have 8 kids by 3 different women. It is to say, however, if you're going to have 8 kids by 3 different women, you have a responsibility to be cognizant of what can happen if you're not diligent financially. And so at that point, it becomes your responsibility to make sure that you are, because you are responsible for those people. And somewhere along the way, in my opinion, on child number 5 or 6 or 7, like at some point you're taking inventory on what's going on. The NFL checks ain't coming in the way they used to, so on and so forth. What is the way for me to pivot? And maybe the way for him to pivot is doing what he's doing now. But clearly you can see from that clip, he is expressing some feelings that he has been dealing with over the fact that he has had to figure out what that looks like for himself, as opposed to having something more set in stone with how to, take on what that's going to look like when those NFL checks do inevitably stop, because they will, and they did. So it isn't necessarily about me having or not having discipline, but what are you responsible for being cognizant of in lieu of the fact that at some point there is something that's going to stop. So for him, it happened to manifest itself in this way. For me, it's going to manifest itself in other ways. Who knows? But there is a progression in I feel of events, and so there is child number 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. So there is a matter of these, and I don't want to harp on the kid, because again, I'm using that aspect of his personal life as a way to say that his propensity for undiscipline manifests itself in a myriad of ways, that being one of them. It's less about the 8 kids and 3 different women. It's about more so that we are all prone to undisciplined tendencies, and that was his. And
Right.
that's how it's come to eventually bite him in that way. So
Right.
it's a referendum on that for other people to say, better make sure that I know how to control some of the ways that my lack of discipline can manifest itself, so that I can protect minds and those around me moving forward. That was kind of what I was trying to get at there.
I got you. I got you. Because I can see now. Because my thing is with because there's always somebody, and I hear your point now, but there can always be somebody that say, you're not enough this because I'm that. But then that somebody can say that to that person because whatever.
About something different. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and that's where I can empathize with his story at, is because it's a tangible thing that can happen to people. And there's areas in my life where I can be more disciplined at. And I was a little too self-confident, and I thought things would always be this way, and I had to pay for that. And so, he was just saying what he was saying. And my thing is I was initially, making fun of him because just last week, I believe it was, we were sitting here talking about him getting that Whitlock, about being that guy, whatever the hell that is. And so, one day he's throwing stones, basically saying that you're not that guy, implying whatever else. And I knew that was about getting women. But then, the very next week he said, I'm not that guy. I'm just a guy. It's like, well, which one is it, Cameron? You know what I'm saying? Which one are you? So yeah, man, everybody got their vices, man. And nobody's perfect around here. And so everybody got their things. But my thing is, when you're living a life of humility, you also have to know where your faults lie at. And I know where mine's at. I know where mine's historically been at. And it sounds like he finally learned. So if it took him this long down the line, so be it. It just sucks that he has to do I gotta be a tap dancing ass sellout in order to make sure that those kids still eat. So that's the part about this that I don't care for. And I can railroad him about that all day, because there ain't no need to tap dance. And you don't have to go down that route. But that's where he chose to go. So
I also think he likes the spotlight too. He likes being in the limelight.
yeah, man, he loves it. He
Cam,
loves the attention.
yeah, Cam loves attention. He does. But yeah, it's like, for me, these things to me are very obvious examinations in the importance of of discipline. And oftentimes I will take it to the importance of men being disciplined, because I think in many ways in today's society, men are more heavily penalized for being undisciplined. So I will oftentimes cape for men in that capacity, because I do think that in today's society, uh, men face a harsher penalty for lack of discipline than women do, in my opinion. In my opinion. So, I think for women, the road to recovery for lack of discipline for women is a bit shorter than it is for men. Men got to deal with a lot more when it comes to that. So it's just about taking these types of stories and pinpointing them to say, this is the importance of discipline, not necessarily to say this person sucks because they lack discipline. Now, I will also say when it comes to people like Zion, um, yeah, I'm gonna go there because you're squandering your career. And like I said before, I think when it comes to that particular aspect, Cam made more of it out more out of maximizing his career than Zion has thus far. And so it's just disappointing to see an individual be given everything and squander it. And I do believe thus far Zion has squandered most of it because of his lack of discipline. Cam, I won't say the same for. However, I will say that this is a case study on what can happen potentially. And you know, Cam ain't down and out, but he's also expressing a level of regret, so to speak. So you kind of want to put yourself in pole position to be as lacking in regret as possible. Uh, when push comes to shove and you are having to make that career transition because you can't run as fast or jump as high as you used to be able to. So we can all stand to learn from that. So it's a learning lesson for everybody, not just an opportunity for us to say, look at how Cam wet the bed, because we all serve as case studies for the next person, whether we realize it or not.
Yeah, 100. Now that I agree with, sir. So we'll see what happens with Sir Cam Newton here, man. You know, I was in favor of him getting into the content creation world initially, but you know, he just got weird on your boy. So I don't know where it's going. You know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, I guess that pressure has gotten to him, which is in turn probably why his content got weird. So we'll see what happens down the line, man. Yeah, man, I don't like that's the stuff that I don't like, you know, because you ain't got to get weird, bro. You know, there's no need for that. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Cam.
Yeah, we will. Shouts out to Cam though. He is a friend of the channel. He is, but I do think he has some of those new human tendencies in him. I do think that. So you
From
know,
what I hear, he that guy. That's what I
he is that guy.
he that guy.
But see, you know, because he is that guy, now he's doing
Yeah,
reality television.
he got 8 miles to feed.
Yeah,
Check it 11 since he had the baby mamas on there.
right. Reality television got him being that guy. I mean, yeah. So, well, rather being that guy got him doing reality television.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Crazy.